21st Century Entrepreneurship with Martin Piskarik.
Failure's only failure if you quit. Otherwise, it's just feedback. My name's Jeff Standridge, and I'm happy to be here today. My entrepreneurial journey started out in a very small town in South Arkansas, in the very south central part of the United States. I grew up in a community of about 1,200 people, 28 people in my graduating class from my public high school. And, I tell people that I crammed a 4-year degree into almost 6 years because I wasn't academically prepared for college. In fact, the very first course that I took in business, I made just above a failing grade. I made a D on an A, B, C, D, F grading scale, and that really took me off of my entrepreneurial journey for a number of years. I actually got a degree in healthcare, spent almost 12 years working as a paramedic, as a respiratory therapist, worked on a helicopter team for about 9 years for a children's hospital as medical crew, and then really got into studying leadership. And when I was a professor at the University of Arkansas for medical sciences, got into studying the differences between top performers and average performers to see kind of what is it that differentiated those two groups of folks. And I learned through my research and certainly the research of others that academic credentials, certifications, letters behind one's name, so to speak, really doesn't correlate with success. And that was a pretty profound understanding for me. So when I say that failure's only failure if you quit, otherwise it's feedback, what I'm really trying to say there is that we all face obstacles in the pursuit of our goals, in the pursuit of our dreams, in the pursuit of our ultimate desires, whether it's with our businesses or our careers, or whether it's in our finances or with our family. We all experience setbacks. And if we take those setbacks as definitive, if we take them as the end of the journey, then yeah, that equals failure. But if we take those temporary setbacks as temporary, and we adapt our approach, we adapt our style, then really that temporary setback is really just feedback to us. And we use that feedback to get better and better and better. And my experience is success comes when we consistently improve ourselves and adapt our course in response to the setbacks that we experience, or what some people would call the failures that we experience. So I spent about 20 years as a corporate executive in a publicly traded technology company. And in that experience, I lived abroad. I acquired through mergers and acquisitions over 4 dozen companies, literally on 5 continents. I had the opportunity to start companies in Poland, China, to acquire companies all across Europe, the Middle East, and Brazil. And to run those companies for periods of time. And that's really what led me into the world of entrepreneurship and venture capital investing. Started the first venture fund in 2015, started our second fund in 2019, and our third fund in 2022. And over that period of time, have probably either directed the investments of or personally invested in over 3 dozen companies. And now I spend my time not only investing in companies, but coaching, consulting, and mentoring with entrepreneurs, aspiring entrepreneurs, and small, medium business executives as well. One of the frameworks that I have found in companies that create sustained strategic growth. In other words, they grow, but they grow thoughtfully, they grow strategically, and they sustain that growth over a significant period of time, is they really, whether they realize it or not, they really focus on creating a culture of excellence within their organizations. And that culture of excellence really revolves around 6 different components. One component in that culture of excellence is strong leadership. They themselves are providing strong leadership. They surround themselves with strong leaders who are committed to creating that strategic growth that they're pursuing as an organization. The second element of that culture of excellence is this organizational, what I call a clarity and focus. They know precisely where they're going. They know the time frame in which they intend to arrive there, and they've identified not only the key steps along the way, but the key measurements and performance indicators that they need to be looking at to keep their finger on the pulse of the organization. The third thing that they do in that culture of excellence is that they have engaged and committed teammates. In other words, they recruit people who are bought into the mission and vision of the organization, to the work of the company. They create a culture where employees are engaged and remain engaged in the work of the business. And then the fourth element is what I call empowering communication. You know, the word empower literally means to make someone stronger and more confident in dealing with the circumstances that they're facing. And so these strong leaders surround themselves with engaged and committed teammates, and then they cultivate a communication style that's focused on empowering or making people stronger and more confident in dealing with whatever circumstances they face them, that are facing them. But that's also balanced by the fifth element, which is 100% accountability. You know, 100% accountability means I do what I say when I say I'm going to do it. And at the first moment that I see that my ability to do what I say or what I said I'm going to do is compromised, I immediately bring that to my colleagues' attention and say, "Hey, I'm at risk here. What do we need to do?" Right? And so I'm 100% accountable for the things that I am responsible for delivering. And then the last element of this culture of excellence is organizational agility. Famous boxer in the United States, Mike Tyson, said that everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. And so we can have the strongest of leadership, the most engaged teammates. We can have complete and absolute organizational clarity, but something's going to happen that punches us in the mouth, so to speak, and we have to be able to bounce back and be resilient. And so those elements are really the framework for creating that culture of excellence that help organizations succeed and grow on a sustainable basis. Over the course of the last several years, I've written 3 books on slightly different but related topics. The first book is titled The Innovator's Field Guide, and it's really focused on creating short stories that bring to life a number of concepts within the world of innovation. And then following each very short reading, there's a number of questions that entrepreneurs, kind of reflective questions or discussion questions that can help them really process the information. And so that's really the format of both the Innovators Field Guide and the Top Performers Field Guide. I mentioned earlier that I spent a number of years researching the differences between top performers and average performers. And what I found there is it really boils down to behavior. And I like to talk about the behavior in terms of two major sets of behaviors. One set of behaviors, if you imagine a set of scales where we weigh things and we balance things on a set of scales, on one side of the scales are results, the results that we deliver. And on the other side of the scales are the relationships that we build and hopefully maintain. If we are so focused on the delivery of results that at the expense of relationships, we will be wildly successful very quickly until we alienate everyone around us who's responsible for helping us maintain those results, and then we lose them both. By the same token, if we're focused on relationship building at the expense of delivering consistent results, people will love us for a period of time until they lose respect for us because we can't do what we say we're going to do when we say we're going to do it. And so this framework of results, relationships, Stephen M.R. Covey calls it character and competence. His father, Stephen Covey, called it the personal victory and the social victory. And I've most recently been talking about it in another set of terms called grit and grace. Grit being the things that cause us to really be able to deliver results, and grace being the things that enable us to build and maintain strong relationships. And so those are the two books, The Innovator's Field Guide and The Top Performer's Field Guide. Most recently, my co-author, Jeff Ammerine, the founder of Startup Junkies, and I wrote a book called Creating Startup Junkies, Building Sustainable Venture Ecosystems in Unexpected Places. And the whole purpose behind that book was to help communities like ours in Arkansas. We're an unexpected place for entrepreneurship. Silicon Valley, Tel Aviv, Israel, Austin, Texas, Chicago, Indianapolis, those are expected places for entrepreneurship. But rural Arkansas is an unexpected place. And we've been focused on building entrepreneurs here for over 15 years. And we wanted to really create a roadmap, if you will, for entrepreneurial ecosystem builders, those who are actually trying to build and support entrepreneurs, to understand that in our experience, there are 4 pillars that really contribute to the creation of sustainable entrepreneurial ecosystems. And those are the pillars of talent, really creating innovative entrepreneurial talent; culture, creating opportunities for entrepreneurs to come together and share ideas and share workplaces and share resources; community engagement, helping even the large flagship employers understand that it's in their best interest to build a thriving entrepreneurial ecosystem because everyone wants to hire innovative entrepreneurial talent. And then finally, access to capital at every stage of venture to development. So those are the 4 pillars that we focus on in the book, Creating Startup Junkies. The vast majority of our work at The Conductor, which is arconductor.org, the vast majority of that work is, actually all of that work is free to entrepreneurs, aspiring entrepreneurs, and innovators, small business owners. Our model is that we secure third-party sources of funding from large federal organizations, state government institutions, and even corporate sponsors, all of whom have an interest, a vested interest in the economic development of our geography, specifically through the cultivation of entrepreneurs. And that enables us to do the work that we do for entrepreneurs for free. So we conduct anywhere from 1,000 to 1,500 free coaching, one-on-one coaching and consulting engagements a year. We have over 50,000 people who access our training programs, our workshops, events, and what have you. About 55% of the businesses we work with are women and minority-owned businesses, and about 35% are actual racial minorities. And so we're very, very proud of what we've been doing in our geography over the last 15 years in one part, the last 8 years in the other part, but collectively over that period of time. It's interesting. None of my immediate family members really have the interest in business that I do. Both of my daughters are nurses, pediatric nurses. My son-in-law is a physician, and so most of my family's in the healthcare world. I have two new grandbabies, one that's only 2 years old, and one that was just literally 3 weeks old. And so I still have hopes that maybe I can raise an entrepreneur. No, I'm very proud of all of my kids, and probably in addition to the work that I do with working with entrepreneurs, my most favorite thing in the world to do is to spend time with my family, whether we're out at the lake or we're sitting around the pool or we're just out for dinner together, which we usually do about once a week or so. It's my absolute most favorite thing to do. And it makes me happy that I never really picked up golf or some of those really time-consuming hobbies that would take me away from the time that I spend with my family. So I would encourage all entrepreneurs and business owners to really frequently take inventory of what is important to them. Business is a means to something. It's not the end in and of itself. So I've been very, very fortunate that the business pursuits that I've been involved in have created the flexibility for me to spend time with my family. They've created the financial resources for me to invest in experiences for my family. So they've been a means for me to fostering those family relationships and creating those experiences. I see many entrepreneurs who the business is the reason they exist versus a means for their existence. And there's a real difference there. So my best guidance to entrepreneurs and aspiring entrepreneurs is to do everything in balance and to really understand and to take stock of your priorities and make sure that your business supports those priorities versus the other important things in your life taking a back seat to your business. Over the course of the next 5 years, we want every business that we come in contact with to understand that creating sustainable strategic growth is not only possible, that it's probable based upon the implementation of a few simple concepts, like that culture of excellence, like working to create a sustainable venture ecosystem as well. Over the course of the next 5 years, I think our company will continue the work that we've done for the last 15, and we'll only see our results improve over time as well. If anybody wants to learn more about me, they can certainly find me on LinkedIn. I'm very active there, Jeff Standridge on LinkedIn. They can find me at jeffstandridge.com. There are a couple of free resources on my website that they're welcome to download at jeffstandridge.com, or they can email me at jeffs@innovationjunkie.com, jeffs@innovationjunkie.com. I'm willing to give any of your listeners a free copy of my Innovators Field Guide, a PDF copy. So shoot me an email. I'd be glad to send it to you.
21st Century Entrepreneurship with Martin Piskarik.
Imagine a space where triumphs, trials, and tales of entrepreneurship come alive. Welcome to the 21st Century Entrepreneurship Podcast, a gold awarded journey hosted by Martin Piskarik, connecting with listeners in 95 countries and ranking in the top 0.5% of all podcasts. Join our exclusive community, elevate your perspective, and embark on the path to success.